You are the cream of the world's air forces. This country desperately needs... This is an evaluation of your operational abilities. Intelligence reports an enemy supply unit moving to resupply their forward positions. You should...
Focus on our 6. Up ahead, take off. Focus on our 6. Take off! Wasted! Up ahead! On our left! Enemy in sight! Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! On our left! Focus on our 6! On our right! Up ahead! Locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus! Miss! On our left! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus! Miss! On our right! And up ahead! Enemy in sight. Great shot! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Blew him away! Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Blew him away! Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him! Bingo! Yahoo! Bingo! Yahoo! Back one! Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Back one! Moving on our tail! Up ahead! On our left! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Blew him away! Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. I'm losing him! Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Bingo! Yahoo! He's wasted! Bingo! Yeah, back one! Mission accomplished.
Immediate mobilization required. Our base's position was compromised in the last enemy push. Reports indicate imminent arrival of bombers. Scramble and ace those bogies.
Enemy locked on. Locked on. Missile approaching. Dive. Dive. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Only on our 6. Jesus, miss. On our left. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Put it down. Shot! Don't let it on our left. Bogey on our 6. Take off. Up ahead. On our left. Up ahead. On our left. Jesus, miss! Bogey on our tail! On our left! Bogey on our 6! Take off!
Warning! Warning!
Up ahead! Enemy in sight! Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey at 12 o'clock! On our right! Bogey on our 6! Enemy in sight! Bogey on our 6! Bingo! Yahoo! Take off! Don't let him get away! Blew him away! Bogey on our tail! On our left! Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Bingo! Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! On our right. Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Oh! Enemy target located. Up ahead! locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! He is toast! Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Jesus, miss! Bingo! Yahoo! Back one! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Let's return to mission, buddy. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Moving on our tail! Up ahead! I'm losing him! Altitude too low! Flying! Enemy targets located. Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Great shot! Don't leave! Wasted!
Immediate mobilization required. Our base's position was compromised in the last enemy push. Reports indicate...
Warning.
Enemy locked on target. Focus on our six.
Alert, body
Focus on our
damage.
tail.
Alert, body damage.
Take off.
Alert, body damage.
Enemy
Alert,
targets
body
located.
damage.
Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Focus on our six. Great shot. Take off. Stay with him. Back one. Enemy targets located. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Back one. Enemy targets located. Focus on our six. On our right. Enemy. Up ahead. On our right. Focus on our six. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. On our left. Enemy locked. Up ahead. Bingo! Yahoo! On our left. Focus on our six. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. Take off. Fire. Shoot it down. Great shot. Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive. Dive. On our left.
Warning. Warning.
Enemy in sight. Focus on our six. On our right. Take off. locked up ahead! Take off! Hooked on her tail! Mission accomplished.
AWACS reports an enemy incursion in our sector. We are diverting you from local air support to forward operations. Neutralize the approaching units. Target, enemy attacking force. Formation makeup is unknown.
Locked on target, locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! On our right! Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Take off! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey on our 6. Stay with him. Take off! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey on our 6. On our right! Locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
On our left, take
Alert,
off!
body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Bogey on our 6. Enemy in... Take off! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! On our right! Bogey on our 6. On our left! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail! On our left! Up ahead! On our right! Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Enemy locked. Take off! Post! Enemy target located. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Enemy target located. On our right! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Oh, pull out of it.
Engine stall.
On our left. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Fire. Put it down. Enemy target located. Up ahead. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Up ahead. Oh, pull out of it. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Jesus, missed. On our right. Bogey on our tail. Bogey on our 6. Oh, pull out of it. On our left. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Jesus, missed. Toast. Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Bingo. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Take off. Bogey on our tail. On our left.
Caution.
Pull out of it.
Engine stall.
Bogey at 12 o'clock. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Blew him away. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Enemy target located. Take off. On our right. Up ahead. Fire. Shoot it down. Toast. Mission accomplished.
Up to now, our offensive missions have been constrained by the presence of civilians in Donetsk City. The recent evacuation of that city permits us to engage hard targets within the city perimeter. Target 1, Computer Communications Center. Target 2, Enemy Headquarters Building. Night conditions should neutralize enemy ground fire. However, the city has at least 3 interceptors available.
Jesus, miss! Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. And up ahead! Up ahead! Enemy in sight.
Warning.
Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Bingo! Bogey on our 6. On our left! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey on our 6. Stay with him. Enemy in sight. Take off! On our left! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Wasted! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it! Wasted! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on our left. Great shot! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. On our left! On our left! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Enemy target located. Jesus, miss! On our right! On our left! Up ahead! On our right! On our left! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Jesus, miss! On our left! Up ahead! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Remove him away! Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located.
Caution.
Great shot!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in
Alert,
sight.
body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Woohoo! Jesus, missed! On our right! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Take off! Bogey on our tail! Great shot! On our right! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. On our right! Up ahead! On our right! Bogey on our 6. Enemy targets located. Great shot! Take off! On our right! Enemy targets located. Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. On our right! Bogey on our 6. Mission accomplished.